Let's talk about 6 things you can do to get better at correction and polishing so you can get better results, you can save on time, and so you can make more money. And if you are starting your detailing business and you're just not quite sure on how to actually get customers, you can click the link down below or go to detailclass.com and sign up for the free training. I take you through the whole process on how I started my business, how I went from a struggling detailer to a booked out detailer, and then how we continue to grow our business today. You can click the link down below. Let's go ahead and get started. This list is in no specific order, so just choose what makes sense for you and kind of mold it and implement it into your business. Because you know, if you're just getting started and you have 2 vehicles under your belt versus you have 25 vehicles under your belt, you're just at a different point of your experience, so you just kind of have to mold this and fit it your specific situation. So on this video here, I'm going to be covering a Toyota Camry. So this Toyota Camry came in the other day and it had trash paint. It had water spots, stains, there was a bit of oxidation, there was pollen, dirt. I mean, it was in bad condition. So I figured this is a great example to go over some key points on how to kind of maximize or be more efficient when it comes to correction or polishing. Number 1 is work in a larger area if the paint allows it. Meaning when you're first getting started, it makes sense to work a 2x2, 2x4 area, because it's a smaller area, you have more control over it, you can really fine-tune your polishing and make sure you're getting great results. Now as you get more experience, as you get more confidence, as you work on more vehicles, you can start to make that size a little bigger. Now depending on the vehicle, meaning if it's soft to mid clear coat, you can probably work a large area and still get great correction or polishing out of it. Now, if it's like a very hard clear coat and there's a lot of swirls and scratches in there, you still want to keep it to a smaller area because it's hard clear coat, it's going to be harder to go after it. So you still want to stay kind of hyper focused with a work area. So on this vehicle here, it was soft to mid clear coat. So on this one, I could work a pretty large area in the correction and polishing, and that simply just allows me to work more and not have to stop less, not have to switch out the pad less, not have to clean out the pad as often, and still get great results. I'm telling you, this is very dependent on the kind of paint that you're working on. Again, I don't want to say there's a specific, like, hey, from 2x4 go to 4x6. I'm not gonna say there's an actual specific size that you should expand to, but just try it out, right? I mean, if you're 6'4 versus 5'5 like me, like it's your arm difference, and like if you're doing a door panel versus the hood versus the roof, all those things will play a factor. But hey, just try to work a larger area, keep the same technique, keep the same form, still do all the proper polishing that you're doing, but just work in a larger area and see how the results turn out. Number 2 is before you wipe off your compound or polish to inspect your work, inspect your work through the compound or polish. Meaning if you work in your compound or polish long enough, it should be translucent to the point where you can put the light in the paintwork and see if you still need to do another pass before you wipe it down. Reason being, and this goes into my 3rd point, is that you want to decrease the amount of times that you're actually spending wiping down or buffing off the compound or polish. So as a general made up example, let's say on average you are buffing off the compound or polish 4 times per door panel. I'm making up a number here. Now, if you are able to work larger areas, like the previous point, and instead of buffing off the compound after every pass, and you're able to inspect your work through the compound or polish, if you see, oh wait, there's still a few more scratches that maybe I need to do one other pass, instead of buffing off the compound or polish, cleaning your pad, putting another dot of compound or polish on your pad, hitting it again, wiping it down, inspecting it, instead of doing all of that, you can simply, I don't know, either spray some water, quick detailer, whether it's put a little dot of compound or polish on your pad, and then work that specific area again real quick just to get that last bit of swirls and scratches that you want to get out, and then buff off the compound or polish. So instead of doing it, let's say 4 times, buffing off the compound on a door panel, if you're working larger areas, if you're inspecting your work through the compound or polish, right, because it's translucent, then maybe you can cut down the buffing to 2 times per door panel or 3 times the door panel. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but imagine, you know, you're doing 4 door panels, you have a large hood, you have a large roof, you have the trunk, you have the front bumper, you have the fenders, like if you compound how many times you're able to decrease a single step, but across the entire vehicle, it's gonna save you time. So points 2 and 3 is inspect your work through the compounder polish. If you have to hit it again, hit it. If not, you can wipe it down. And then 3, like I said, is gonna help you decrease the amount of times you're spending wiping off or buffing off the compounder polish. Number 4, very important, is that always keep a section of the vehicle, whether it's on the hood or a door panel, uncorrected, right? So if you're doing a 2-step correction and it's on some trash paint, somewhere in the center of the hood and somewhere on the door panel, leave a section uncorrected, like don't correct it. Because what happens is, let's say again like this Camry, trash paint, right? But once we remove like 80%, 85% of the swirls and scratches, it's a big difference, right? Like it looks amazing now. But I don't know why, we're humans, but once we start working the whole vehicle, we start to think about not the 85% that we just removed, but about the 10 and 15% of the swirls that's still left on the paint. And then we start looking at the paint and we're like, man, I feel like I should work that a little more to get better results. And it's like, well, we just removed 85% of the swirls out of the paintwork. The paint's looking amazing. It's glossy, it's great, like it's looking fantastic. But we're like, oh, but I see a bit more swirls in there. I feel like if I do one other pass, I can get them out. So this is why you want to leave an uncorrected spot in the paintwork. That way you always have a point of reference of like, wait, how did it look before? And you go and you kind of do you look at the spot that you left uncorrected and you're like, oh no, dude, really, look how the paint used to look like. Like that looks fantastic. It's a night and day difference. And that way you don't feel so, guilty or like you have to go after those other 10-15% of the swirls because you already made a big difference. And this leads me to also point number 5, where is take plenty of before photos and videos that we can document the process of what it was before. Now, of course, this is great for social media to showing the customer, but it's also, again, just for us to keep a mental note of like, yeah, the vehicle was trashed before this, right? Like, it looks fantastic now, but did we really do something? I'm telling you, it gets in all our heads that we can do a bit more. And even though we remove 85-80% of the swirls and scratches, we start to lock in on, oh, but what about that 10%? Oh, I still see a little bit of swirls and scratches in there. But again, the customer is gonna be happy. Don't overdo yourself. Like don't fall into that mental hole of saying, oh, but I still see a few more scratches. I can get those out. No. Leave an uncorrected spot. Always have that as your point of reference. Take plenty of photos and videos of the before, and then at the end you can remove it. That way, you know, you finish everything up. But that really helps. Always have a point of reference saying, oh, does it look good? Does it look good? Oh wait, let me go look over there. Oh yeah, it's a big difference. It's looking great. So definitely just find the little spots, leave it uncorrected until you're done with the whole vehicle. That way you always have your point of reference. And number 6, which might be the most important one on this list actually, is experiment with your own methods, techniques, processes, whatever to achieve your desired results. I mean, that's literally it. Yes, there's good practices to do when you're getting started, when you're trying a new machine out, 100%. But as you work on more vehicles, you gain more experience, you gain more confidence, you repeat the service over and over. That just try something different, right? I mean, try cutting a whole door panel with one patch. See if you can, I don't know, work a larger section area with just one pass. See if you can polish a whole door or 2 doors with, I don't know what that means, right? Some are gonna work, some will not work, and you'll revert back to what you were doing. I don't know, but just try something different, because we all have our own opinion on what we do, but that's all it is. It's just an opinion from someone from their own perspective. And it doesn't mean you don't have your own opinion or you don't have your own form or technique or method that you can do to get your desired results, right? So if you have a 5-inch and you're gonna go grab your 3-inch, it's like, well, can I finesse this to get that 5-inch in that smaller area? Can I do it by hand instead of getting the 1-inch? Can you just try different things, right? Like just literally try that, because there is no like one side, or there's no like permanent answer to anything in detailing, right? The way you wash a car, the way you clean an interior, the way you do anything, like, it's just from what others have gone through and experienced. But there isn't like a set, like an absolute concrete book that says, hey, this is exactly how it's supposed to be done. And that's gonna wrap it up right there. This isn't like the end all be all list. It was just a few things you can do to start implementing it today, tomorrow, to see if you can change up your process. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Add one to the list if you'd like, and I'll talk to you on the next one.